What is up, and welcome to Loose Beats, where our motto is chill out and make a beat. I'm Toby, A.K.A. Kushing from the T&D channel. Make sure you check out everything we do. And today we got something a little different. We made this beat on our live chillin' beat that we do every other Monday, and we use some Grateful Dead samples in it. We use some of Jerry's vocals that were isolated, and I wanted to show you guys this idea because I want to start doing these in a couple different ways, So let's break down the beat first. We've got our keyboard down here. It's a Wurlitzer Classic. Just got a compressor and an EQ on it, nothing crazy. And it's doing our basic chords, which is just 2 chords. We didn't want to remake the actual song. We wanted to make a new beat behind it. So this is what that sounds like. Just some churchy majors, just what works for this type of thing. It really kind of sounds like some yacht rock, something like that, some soft, easy yacht rock. And you can hear that in our guitar here, which is doing this noodly little palm muted kind of thing. Yeah, that's a fun little thing. Feels like you're on a beach or on a boat, for the day. And then we've got a little accent line on the guitar as well that's only used twice. It's really just to bring in a segment. You can hear it with our other line when the sub bass and the kick comes in. Yeah, it's just that little riff right there to bring in our transition. And then we've got, under that, we've got some drums here. We've got a SoCal kit doing our basic hi-hats. Yeah, so it's got a nice little 16th variations. We left some velocity changes in here as well to make it a little more human sounding, but I never like it to be too human. You gotta have some sharp edges for me. I like to hear it on point, as close as it can get. And under that, we've got our Bluebird doing our kick under here, which is kind of a trashy garage kick. Yeah. So we got that going for us. It's got this nice bouncy kind of halftime show marching band kind of beat. The boom, 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 boom. It brings a little bit of energy to it without taking away from the fact of how chill it is. And with that, we've got our deep sub bass up here, some chimes, and a synth pad. So we can hear all our tones here as well. Just want that deep, deep subtone droning out everything in the bass region, And then we've got another kind of drony dark pad here, but it kind of takes the place of a synth brass sound, It's a real light, brassy sound. Just doing our main steps, staying in that major, not being too crazy. We've got some chimes here that we go hard with for a second. Just bring in our transition. Ooh, magical. And then we've got our samples up here, and we've got a track here that's basically, it's like wood knocks that we're putting the distance with reverb. We have some Space Designer, big hall reverb on here. We have some echo and a channel EQ that's pulled all our highs down as to not get in the way of the hi-hats. And it's kind of just doing this wood knocky thing in the background. But that light little difference in tonality can really bring some depth to your hi-hats, you know? So instead of having just our, semi-boring, simple hi-hats, we can add a little bit of sound to them, and we have them sounding like this. Yeah, and they're kind of playing off of each other, hitting little spaces in between one another. And then we do have a second section down here where we drop into another sample section, but we'll get to that in a moment. First, let's go to our Grateful Dead samples and check them out. These were taken from Touch of Grey. They were isolated vocals of Jerry, and then some people harmonizing with him, right? So with this, we have the end of our chorus, but it's kind of using this, harmonized, almost dissonant, haunting sound, but it's dropping into a major. So it has this nice little relief after you hear it. Just focusing on those two little steps and dropping into it, I think that sounds really nice. It's a really good way to distract you and throw you off before the actual drop comes in, right? And then we've got a couple from the chorus. We've got It's All Right. We segmented out. We've got a silver lining line in there. And then we also have I Will Survive, kind of the main taglines. Right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. And on these, we got from the isolated track, and we just added a compressor, a chroma verb here, got a little chamber reverb going, and then we got a nice little echo on our side chain that's going at half dotted with our wet about halfway dry all the way down, but our feedback really high just because there's so much space in between them that you kind of want it ringing on in the background until it hits that other one. And then we've got a second reverb down here as well through the Space Designer. And this is kind of what we put all of the vocal tracks through, And so we've got that one going a couple times, and you can hear we add in our call and answer line down here as well. You can hear how that sounds. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I will survive. It's all right. It's all I will survive. It's all right. Yeah, and we may want to clean these up just a tad, pull them back. And we don't want this echo on our second one. It seemed like it was a little too heavy. We just want that on our initial call, not our response. And then we have that again down here, and we use the vocal samples in a little different way for our transition. So into this transition, I'll show you. This one was taken from a Michael Jackson recording of River of Jordan. It just seemed to fit. I don't know what it was. The key was just right, and the drop was just right. And so we used our samples from the beginning, mixed with our silver lining line, and then right into the Michael Jackson thing, so you can hear how that sounds. Touch of gray. Hold me like the river Jordan, and I will save Hold me like the river Jordan, and I will save Yeah, and it just seems to work really well. I love bringing back those ahs from Touch of Grey with the River of Jordan line. It's just a cool little thing. It's another kind of way that we could use these samples. This one is just started. It's ready for lyrics, but I really just wanted to show this idea of using some of these old IPs, especially the Grateful Dead, because they're not sampled as much. There's a lot of Deadheads out there that make music and beats and stuff, but you don't hear them sampled much. You hear Like there was the big Notorious B.I.G. and Grateful Dead album where they had his verses over Grateful Dead songs, and that's another thing I want to kind of experiment with what I should use from the song. So this one is an example of how we can take a beat that we made and throw some vocal samples on them, mix them in, and have a nice little haunting hook that we can go back to. You know, we can have the theme written around. It's all right. You know, it can be like a comforting song. You're comforting your spouse. I will survive. It could be used in a lot of different aspects, but the other way would be to take the music, like some crazy changes. We could take some changes from Slipknot and some of the more proggy fusion songs, and then add them into a different genre. I really love the genre meshing. Doesn't always work, but when it does, it's so nice, and it's cool to use some of this old music that I love. So the other way I'm going to try next time probably will be using the music instead of the lyrics, and maybe that proggy style, but also like some punk fucking 60s like surf rocky shit, some cream puff war, something like that, that really, that style is just not used very much. Throwing some surf rock into like a trap song would be fucking awesome. I really think that would work. It'd be two of my favorite genres that are so far apart that I think they might mesh. But anyway, that's kind of what I want to do. And that's pretty much the beat here. Let me know what y'all thought about this one. Let me know what you think about how I should use these in coming up songs, because I do want to try this a few different ways in using some old samples from the Dead. Tell me if you like the vocal path or if you like the music path, or, what genres they should be meshed with, stuff like that. And make sure to check out our Patreon. We got a lot of new stuff on there. We have an extra crazy dirty podcast called A Drink and a Joint Too Many. Over there we have a music video game show where we rate new music videos from 1 to 10. And then we have another show where we break down Grateful Dead lyrics. We watch movies with you guys every month. It's a lot of fun, so make sure to go join our Patreon. And make sure to check out Kushing, which is what I release my music under. I'm always trying to get new stuff out and pressure myself to do it more. I release on Spotify, iTunes, and on this channel, on the Toby and Davey channel, there's a playlist for Kushing that you can check out too. So check that out whenever you can. And lastly, Real Bird, which is our company. It's our merch site. We have a lot of new cool stuff that for last winter, and we're about to put out some new stuff for the summer. So check that out. It's a cult, baby. Join it. And we love you for it. So let's go out on this Grateful Dead sampled yacht rock song.